So this is a story time. How I screwed my back. Can we get a burp counter on screen? Getting to the story. Now, as some of you may know, I used to work at a mine site. Now, I'm not going to mention the mine company, but someone on my TikTok was like, yes, please tell us the story of how you screwed your back. I was like, so strap in, this is gonna be a wild ride. This was coming towards the end of like a 2-week stint at site. 2 weeks on, 1 week off is the average swing of an apprentice for this company. Anyway, so I'm just working as per usual, doing the things. I'm on a drill rig this time. I have an image of a drill rig that I worked on, or just one similar. So I was working on that bad boy. It was me and like 2 other guys. We were doing all the hoses and re-hanging all the like the hydraulic hoses to make the front part move, right? And to get one of these big bundles of hydraulic hoses hung up on the right spot, it's got to be lifted into a certain spot. So I just got underneath it, got like a good stance, good positioning, and just lifted it up with my shoulders like I'm doing a squat, essentially. Now, this didn't feel great, but it didn't feel like it did damage to my back at all, so I just thought it was fine, right? The rest of the day goes on. We had like another hour and a half-ish till the end of the day. Everything seemed completely fine. Got back to camp, ate some good food, went to bed, woke up the next morning, something didn't feel right. Went, oh, maybe I think I just slept a bit wrong. Sat on the edge of my bed and went, it's worse than when I was laying down, but oh well. And then I bent down to put my shoes on. I almost scream in pain before I even get halfway down to my feet. Now at this point I'm thinking, uh-oh, that's not good. So what do? I panic. I finish putting my shoes on, screaming in pain the whole time, at which point I realize I really can't work like this. I should probably tell someone.
Well, no fucking shit.
So I message my supervisor, my boss, and I say, hey, dude, I'm insanely sore back. I can't work today. It isn't until like an hour and a half later that my boss messages me back and is like,
you can't just say that you have a sore back and then take the day off work. You have to visit the nurse.
I'm like, what makes you think I can get to the nurse? Mind you, there's no nurse at the campsite. There's only a nurse at the work site, which is a whole bus ride away. And if you know anything about the ride comfort of buses, and especially mine buses, yeah, that wasn't happening. So I explained that to him, to my boss, and he goes, all right, I'll come pick you up and we'll go to the nurse. He acts like it's some massive inconvenience, like he doesn't sit on his ass all day and not do anything. I hobble my way over to his vehicle and take about a minute and a half to like get from just outside the door to sitting in the seat. At no point does he show a single shred of sympathy or empathy towards me. About 5 to 10 minutes later, we get to site. I take another minute and a half to get out of the vehicle, the whole time wincing in pain. Managed to walk my way over to the nurse, who says, here, take these anti-inflammatories, you'll be right, go back to work on modified duties. You know what modified duties or light duties means on a mine site? You do paperwork and you do sweeping. Sweeping, worst thing when you have a lower back issue. They wouldn't let me sit down on a chair, so I had to like use a bench, and all the benches were at a certain height that I had to like bend over slightly. I take the anti-inflammatories, they take the edge off. Let me describe the pain to you for a second. Imagine someone takes a kitchen knife. They put the tip of it on the stovetop, like on the flame until it gets red hot. Then they take said knife and they just slide it halfway into my back right at my spine. That's what it feels like. And then when I'm just standing normally, it feels like they've just cooled the blade down a little bit. So I'm in agony pretty much the entire day. The anti-inflammatories have taken the edge off, so it no longer feels like the knife is halfway in, it's about a quarter of the way in. At this point, it's Tuesday, I'm pretty sure. Now, every fly out day back to site is Friday, for me anyway. There was, however, a flight heading out of site on the Wednesday, the next day. My boss says to me, hey, I might be able to get you out on the flight on Wednesday and get this sorted out, whatever's going on. This was the first time I felt like my boss actually gave a toss. So I'm like, all right, sweet, we'll see what happens. Now, at no point did he fully confirm that he would be able to get me on this flight, but the way he said it and what he said was that he would try to get me on this flight. So I think, all right, sweet. We're sorted. Well, I might be able to head home tomorrow and I might be able to get this sorted out, whatever the hell it is. So the next day comes around, I'm still in as much pain. I text him and go, hey, did you manage to get me on the flight today so I can go home to the doctors, see what's going on? He then responds with,
What? Not unless the nurse signs off on it.
I'm like, when did the nurse have to sign off on it? You never said anything about that before. You've gone from
Hey, I'll try and get you onto this flight.
to,
What are you talking about? You have to get the nurse to sign off on it.
I didn't freaking know about it. Now, there is about an hour till this flight gets to the airport. There is no time to get me on the flight. There is no time to go to the nurse to get to sign off on it. Nothing. So now I'm stuck on site for another 3 days or something. The whole time I'm on light duties. Light duties comes with a lowered pay rate because you're not doing the same job as you were before, and they managed to give the person with back pain all the jobs that make back pain worse. So I can't do any heavy lifting, I can't get into any confined spaces, I can't go up on platforms, I can't do anything because that is my entire job, right? So what do? They get me on the broom. My back is now actually worse because I've been sweeping all day. My bosses can see this because they are watching me the whole time, trying to see if I'm faking it. Yeah, me screaming, groaning, and doubling over at times and out of pain is
fake.
I don't put on a show or nothing, I just deal with it. I'm thinking, I'm going home in a few days anyway, I'll go to the doctors and we'll see what the hell is going on. So I get home, I go to the doctor, he goes, yeah, that doesn't sound good. I'm like, thank you. He then refers me to a physiotherapist. They do some adjusting. I go to a chiropractor, they do their adjusting. They all give me exercises to do, all of which don't help because they haven't figured out the actual issue. I go back to the doctor, he gives me a letter to give to my work to say, hey, he can't return to work. There is no point in him being there. So I get referred to getting a CT scan in the city. So I go get the CT scan and guess what the results were? A herniated disc. And that herniation is pressing on a nerve. Now, also a little detail I left out at the start of this, the pain isn't localized, right? The pain starts at my back and runs down the back of my leg all the way down to my knee and then all the way to my pinky toe. So I send all that information to site. I then put in for workers' comp. However, the problem is I didn't write an incident report. Why didn't I write an incident report, you ask? Because A, at the time I didn't realize that the events from the day before the back pain started was probably the cause. The doctor also said that it can be a combination of a bunch of things over the last like 5-10 years, and it was just something at work that might have triggered it. So my workers' comp gets declined. I appeal, it gets declined again. They put my apprenticeship on hold and they start harassing me in the way of sending me to a different doctor every 3 frickin' days. I've been to 4 doctors, I've been to 2 chiropractors, 2 physiotherapists, all of which have said the exact same thing, and that my work is still trying to send me to more doctors. At this point, I know what they're trying to do. They are trying to force me out. They're trying to get me to quit. And they are never going to relent. If there is one thing I know about that company, they will never relent. They will spend as many work hours as they have to, sending me emails to go to different doctors with the threat of a termination without actually terminating me, to the point where I get sick of it and give up. So I didn't give them the satisfaction, I quit. Yes, that sounds like a bad idea, but honestly, I was more than sick of the headache. I got sharply worded emails from my apprenticeship coordinator, basically saying, hey, we don't believe anything you've said to us or anything that the other doctors have said. You need to go to our independent doctors, of which I have already been to. Otherwise, we are not going to believe anything you say. So, yeah, that's the story of how my back is completely screwed.